Hello Bitsbrood, this is Craig from bitsbox.co.uk here, and in this video I'm kitbashing my entry for the Grimdark Cards 2025 competition. So if you're not aware of this competition, you can find it on Grim40k on Instagram, and yeah, this competition's been held in the past before, and essentially you get drawn a random card with a piece of John Blanche artwork, and yeah, your task is to kitbash a miniature based on that artwork. So that's what I'm going to do in this video. So the competition closes on December the 8th. So by the time this video goes out, should still be a couple of weeks left. It is just for kitbashing. You haven't got to paint the miniature. So that's plenty of time to get on board if this interests you. So yeah, let's hit the desk and see what I come up with. But before we do that, of course, I do need to show you what I'm actually going to be making. And yeah, this somewhere on here is the card that was drawn, so this will be what I'm making in this video. So yeah, now let's hit the desk. Alrighty, so I've got this Ministorum Priest miniature here, who I think will be perfect, and this top section especially. So that's what I'm going to do. It's a shame that he's actually already assembled, so it might make chopping him up a little bit harder. But yeah, I'm going to start with taking his arms off. And yeah, essentially I'll just hack away at this and very carefully just take off little bits till I'm left with this top piece. And luckily, as I was doing this, he did come apart, so it'll make it just a little bit easier. A little bit of chopping. I'm starting to get the pieces that I want. Now the tassely bits did break, but I think I'll just make some new ones with green stuff later on and cover them up. And yeah, just need to make a hole for his eye, as the artwork sort of has this sort of gouge where his eye was. So obviously some sort of war wound. And yeah, get the two bits glued back together, like so. And yeah, now it's a case of giving him some legs. So it's really hard to find legs that fit this miniature. I was looking in the Inquisitorial Agents for like some robed sort of legs, but they all seem quite small. And we've got the Empire Wizard, which again seems it's not right. It's quite hard to find. So in the end, I did 3D print some. These are from Station Forge. I just printed the bottom half of a miniature and sized it up to size up fit. In hindsight, maybe the Electro Priest's legs might have worked. But they do have quite a wide stance, and I've got just a blob of green stuff, which is going to go in here, the back of him, front and the back halves, and didn't quite line up. I think I just broke too much on the back, and that's going to go in like so, and I'll neaten up the excess. And this is what it looks like with the legs attached and the green stuff at the back. I know it's quite basic, but you won't see a lot of it by the end of the miniature. So for arms, I'm using some of the old Chaos Marauder arms, the Slaves to Darkness. Essentially, again, just like the legs, it was very hard to find arms that fit. A lot of them are just too small and too stubby. As perfect as this body is for this miniature, size-wise, it's just out of proportion with a lot of stuff. But the Chaos Marauder arms worked. I didn't really want his arms to be bare, but it will do. And I can't really get the pose in the art, so he is going to be holding his scroll with one hand, and then I'll give him a weapon in the other hand. Not ideal, because I'd like to have maintained the pose, but you just got to use what you got, really. Work with what you got. So yeah, the other arm, I'll probably use this axe, and I'll replace the axe head. So also, I did cut the hand off for this because he's going to be holding the scroll and with his hand out sort of sideways. So I'm going to glue that back on. And before we get to the scroll, I'm going to take this sort of mace thing. I don't know what set this is from, so I do apologise. If you recognise it, let me know in the comments. And I'm going to take the head off this axe. Now in hindsight, I probably should have shortened the shaft down a little bit more. Or maybe even had a completely different weapon. I was thinking maybe like a taser goad or something could work quite well. But I don't know. This is what I'm going for. And just a little bit of filing down just to make it fit fit better. That should go on there quite nicely. So here he is with his arms attached. And yeah, he's starting to come along now. So this is the scroll we're using. This is from the Inquisitorial Agents. It's just perfect. Absolutely perfect. Now it's going to hang a little bit lower than his legs. So I will raise him up on his base when he's done. I'm just chopping a little bit off there, and he's going to hold it from the side. Again, not ideal. But it's, you know, like I say, it's what I've got to work with. So that's what I'm going to do. And that should stick on there. Alright. So I wanted to give him a backpack, and I've taken one here from the Skitarii Rangers. I'm also going to take the servo skull from the original miniature. Now the backpack will help me hide a little bit of my rubbish green stuff work on the back, but also give me something to attach these extra little bits and pieces to, and that can go on there. And before I can attach it to the back, I need to take this bit off here. It's quite hard to get the clippers on to chop it, as you can see. So in the end I just took a file and just filed it down flat. When I say file, it's sort of sand and stick, but it does the same job. And yeah, here's the backpack glued on. And on the original artwork, he has some sort of like light thing, but I found this. Again, I don't know what it's from. I just find these pieces lying around. And yeah, I'm going to stick that on the backpack because I think it looks quite cool. And yeah, that goes on there like so. And I've also got this piece, which I think is from the Chaos Warpsmith. And it's got loads of little cables and stuff on. So I'm going to be taking some off, and we'll attach them to the backpack as well. And I'll chop some down. It's got like 2 attached. And they'll go on the backpack. I'm not too sure about that side. It sticks out quite a lot, so maybe I'll put it on the other side. And yeah, I'll stick that down the bottom there like so. And then I'll get another one for the other side as well, which will be this little piece here. It's a tiny little bit of poly cement, and then that can just go on the other side. And I apologise, I keep falling out of shot. There we go. I can just hang on there like that. Okay. So, I'm awful at green stuff, as you've probably already seen. But I'm just going to roll out some green stuff on a piece of bacon paper. Got some Vaseline to stop it from sticking so much. And yeah, just rolling it out so I can just cut some strips. And these will just cover up the broken parchment-y bits on this front. I don't know what they're called. And yeah, nice sharp knife to cut it. Although, really, you should, and I will, just give it some time to dry first. As you see, it just drags it otherwise. So yeah, I'll give that half hour to dry before I do this properly. Now with them glued on, I can glue them to his base. And yeah, I just need to raise them up a little bit. So I just stuck them on a little bit of like bark. And yeah, that was him. And I think he came out alright. Now I'd love to have him more like the original pose. But just finding arms that's suitable just wasn't happening. I suppose I could have maybe found some to 3D print, but I really didn't want to do that so much on this miniature. It's bad enough having to do it with the legs. Well, I do really like how the legs look. You know, do work really well. But yeah, I don't expect to win the competition. That's not what it's about. All the fun is in taking part. I hope it doesn't win, because I've seen some of the other entries and there are much more deserving entries than this there. Do check it out. Hashtag Grimdark Cards 2025. You can find all the entries on there. Of course, you've still got a couple of weeks to do your own. But yeah, some really good stuff. I love these types of competitions. We'll have to host something ourselves again sometime. We've done the odd kitbashing competitions in the past, so maybe one day we'll do some more as well. They're just such good fun. If you know of any other competitions, then do let me know. And if you've entered this yourself, do let me know what your Instagram username is, and then I'll go look it up. Yeah, some of these have been fantastic. Again, do check out the hashtag, and I'll try and leave a link to it in the description. But yeah, do let me know what you think. If you have any other ideas for kitbashing videos you'd like to see on this channel, do let me know, or just any content in general. I'm happy to do whatever as long as it's sort of wargaming or 3D printing related. So that's what his channel's all about. But yeah, all that's left to say is thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all again in the next video.